believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Erik Nagel.
Thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Erik Nagel over there in the frozen tundra of Arizona. Say hello to Jordan.
Hey, everybody.
If you're listening to the show, you're already here. You know all the information. Don't need to tell you. But for those listening later on or finding us accidentally some other way, shape, or form, if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, thank you very much for doing so. If you're listening to us later on Apple, Spotify, any of those places you get stuff on demand, do us a kindness. Go over there, leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. And if you want to join us live as we do the program each and every week, you can hop over to our live rooms over on YouTube and over on Twitch, and you can be part of the program. Jordan, my friend, how are you? What has been going on?
Oh, just trying to get through the week, man. I've got spring break coming up for the kids, so I'm just trying to get through these next couple days, and then I don't have to get up too early to drive anybody to school. Yeah.
We are heading into the middle of March, yeah.
I know, we're heading into March. Well, yeah, we're heading to the middle of it. So, yeah, spring break's next week here in Arizona for 2 weeks, so I don't have to worry about getting everybody to school. No picking up for lunch. Like, it's going to be nice to have a little bit of breathing room. I've been just exhausted all week.
Right.
I know you and I have tried a couple times to get on and hang out and stuff like that, and for one reason or another, I was pulling the old man Nagel move, and I was just passing out at before midnight, just gone. And then you and I were up last night real late, and then it's just kind of catching up to me. So it's just been one of those.
There
just
are
kind of want to get over it weeks.
There are times where I've been trying to readjust my life because kid and other things, the rest of the world doesn't run on my time. So I make that adjustment, and then I'm blacking out between 8 and 10 o'clock my time. And then there's other times where it's like, I got this show, I got other editing, I got a lot of other work to do. This is going to be one or two of those nights where I'm up all night and going to bed right as the sun is coming up. So
Yeah.
I'm constantly in in flux, if you will, and all of that stuff. That is not normal for you. So welcome to the club of being miserable all the time.
It is kind of weird. So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm starting to kind of take on more responsibility for our other show too. So I'm like trying to edit video, trying to learn how to do that, put stuff together, and I'm just running out of time. I'm tired.
Right.
So these 2 weeks are going to be nice to kind of just reset. Do some stuff, hang out. Play some games. Maybe we can try to get some Lethal Company going.
That's never going to happen. I bought that game like a month or so ago, and we still
have
have yet to get together to play it. No, you guys are all busy hell diving now.
Look, democracy isn't going to spread itself.
All you hell divers. Hold on. We got to pause for a second. We have to recognize a celebrity in the room. One Cardiff Electric, who, by the way, I thought was... Oh, he's still 2 days away. Go over to carlsoncomedy.com if you're going up to or in the Rochester, New York area, and go support our buddy Cardiff there. And he's doing it with Vinny, and then Carl from WATP has to go do some stand-up over there. There are still a few tickets available, so go and get your tickets and help them out. And a good time will be had by all as he's doing his live subreddit surfing podcast in front of a comedy audience.
Does Cardiff pull a Gorillas where he doesn't actually come out? The potato is still like projected on a screen up there, so he doesn't break the kayfabe, as it were.
If we all had the money, yes, but since we don't, it would be essentially like wheeling in the TV unit when the substitute comes in to play a movie, so they have to wheel the television and the VCR cart in. Yeah, and it's just would be awkward pre-recordings where the time doesn't match up to the script and
the audio's off.
Yeah, it's just going to be wonky. So, carlsoncomedy.com. Go and support our pal Cardiff there. We were saying last week you have the Cardiff on your thing too, right?
I do. I've got right there. Hi, buddy.
Look at that.
Got that. And I got my autographed picture back there. I actually need to get a little frame for it. I'm going to stick it up on the shelf, but it's on there just kind of hanging out.
And then it says, "Hi, Josh."
Yeah, it says, hi, Josh. I'm like, all right, thanks, Dick.
Fantastic.
No, I
Cardiff
love it.
Electric on all the social medias and on YouTube. Go give that young potato a follow, and then, we're swamped with all these stickers. He just keeps sending them over and over. Or there's a glitch in his automated system that keeps sending me hundreds and hundreds. But
I do like how he keeps the bit going. He was in Vegas a couple weeks back doing a live like on Instagram, and I jumped in just to say hey, and he goes, hey, Josh. I'm like, God damn it, he's still doing it.
There's a video clip out now that I didn't put it all together, but Cardiff used to call our show. I knew at one point Cardiff was calling this show, and it was before you were on here. It was still with Giddles and Zia. And before we knew him as Cardiff, he would call. I'm going to have to go find clips. Oh, actually, I don't have to. They have it on here. There's a clip, a video presentation, if you will, on YouTube that is explaining the origins of Cardiff. And he was the weird guy that was leaving voicemails for us and getting kind of he was like flushed, if you will. He was whenever a pretty girl comes into the room, whatever that state is.
Are you the pretty girl is what you're saying?
Unfortunately, no. It was always with Zia. He would be like, hi, Erik. Hi, Giddles. And then it'd be a long pause and he would go,
hey, Zia.
hi, Zia. Like, it was weird. But yeah, that's where he started. So
Nice.
I was listening to the clip the other day. Somebody sent it to me, and I'm listening. I'm like, holy shit, Cardiff started on our show. It's fantastic. Now he's shot way past us. He's hanging out with the likes of Tukey. Where's Tukey?
Hey, what's up, my
And Dr. Steve, and those likes, and OJ the Orange. So they're doing fairly well.
That's good.
All
Good
right.
for him.
Moving on. Back to you. Everything's good with you. Kids are not killing you.
Yeah, no, it was like I know you and I talked last night. Had a fun day after work. I had to take the boy to a school function. Did that. We went over. They just built a brand new McDonald's right by his school, right down the road. So we stopped in, and it was one of those weird brand new McDonald's that
The
have
McCafe?
almost no,
Or
like,
what is it called?
No, but
Is it called McCafe? No, it's called. Is it called Sonic something?
I don't know what they're calling it, but you walk in and there are just no employees whatsoever. Like there's not even like a menu board where you can order. You go up to the touch screens, you put in your order, you get in your number, you grab your thing.
That's what it's called.
No, that's not that one yet.
Okay.
I've yet to see those. But yeah, did that. Ended up getting some of that new McDonald's sauce, which, whatever.
We're going to do that on the next.
Yeah, so I saved one of those so we could do that.
By the way, the consumer stuff. People have been asking where it is. There's been so much other stuff going on. I apologize. It is my fault that it hasn't been put out there yet, but it's going to be, I guarantee it'll be up this weekend. We have like 7 episodes already done and produced in the can. They just need to be released. And we've got at least 4 more that we got to tape. So there's going to be the TV version of The Consumer, which is coming out, and going through all the snack stuff, but also continue to follow it on Instagram at The Consumer. And that's where a lot of the other reviews will go, where we pretty much, it's not worth doing on camera. They're like one quick bite or a drink or something, or looking quick reviews. That's where they're going to all be. Everything goes through the Instagram account, but the video version will be here on this YouTube channel. So if you want to subscribe to that, that'll be fantastic.
And what's cool is that me and Erik have like a East Coast, West Coast snack exchange program going. So he'll get all the good stuff from the West Coast. I get all the East Coast stuff. Right. I just tried that mustard with the dill pickles flavoring in it that you sent me. Not the hot mustard, but it was like a French's.
Oh yeah, I haven't even tried
tasty.
that. I still have that in the one of the bags over there. I still haven't
I
tried
saw that too. I was like making a sandwich for lunch today, and I'm like, oh, I've got these new mustards I haven't tried yet. So I cracked open the dill one. It's good. It gives you just enough pickle flavoring without having to put pickles on your sandwich. I liked it. It was very tasty. Anyway, but yeah, that's just being dad and doing stuff and trying to get through the week.
Stuff and things. And
all that.
I was doing the dad thing as well, and unfortunately, it's bound to happen where you have incidents where your baby beats you up.
Yeah, I've had that.
My baby beat me up. Oh, it is not the worst excuse I ever thought up.
Yeah. So Kid gets hyper, is having a good time playing around and trying to calm him down. It's like, you gotta stop. You're getting out of hand here. Swings head back, full force, hits me dead in the nose, like right center, and it pushes in, almost like you know. You ever take any martial arts growing up?
No, I mean I've been punched in the face, but
Okay.
so face.
When you're doing martial art, I took a couple years growing up of Kempo Taekwondo, right? So you learn all, the katas and forms and fighting stances and positioning and what have you. But then they also show you how not to hurt people, right? There's ways of defending yourself, and then there's ways to not hurt people. One of the things they teach you is about the nose, that if you hit the nose dead on like this, you could essentially go back into the brain and damage somebody pretty bad, if not kill them.
Yeah,
right?
You're essentially pushing the palm up to the bottom of the nose and just pushing up.
Correct. So that is sort of what happened when the kid's head went flying back, full force, back of the skull, dead into the nose. It was an electrocution on the likes that I've never felt before. And then to the point where I'm standing in the middle of the room, I couldn't even move. I'm just grabbing my head like this because the pain is so bad. And, I have people talk to me, you okay? You okay? Obviously, I'm not okay. I can't answer you at that moment while it's happening. And finally, it calms down a little bit, but it's still hurting. And I start to feel stuff coming out my nose. Now I'm thinking this is blood, right? And I'm going like this, and no, it's all clear. So, yay, brain fluid is now leaking out. And so I grab some paper towels, and it's constantly coming. Then it finally stops. Then the pain moves from here into like the eye socket and all around here. And the week before, I just had dental surgery, and it's still temporary here. Like I got to get the final work done next week. So I got bashed in the nose. My eye is throbbing. I have an extremely bad headache. And now it's going all through this side of my face here because the nerves and everything are still sensitive from all the surgery. So a couple of dual action Advils is all I could do, and passed out. And luckily today when I woke up, it wasn't as bad. 2 more of the dual action stuff, and we'll ride this out. I can still kind of feel it. If I'm biting down here, I can still kind of feel it in this area, but... yeah, it was a nightmare. And
that's rough. Like for such soft-headed little things, man, they just hit you with that right spot. I've been headbutted a couple times before. That
kid, and then I've seen other kids at the playground. They just fall. They'll be standing straight up and they just fall. Like nothing happened to them, and they're constantly falling into things or crashing into other kids or other parts of the playground. Yeah. And they get up, and 9 out of 10, they're fine. You always get the ones that start crying right away because, knock the wind out of them or something, rattled them. But when they're in full hyperactivity mode and they're just crashing into everything, almost like you're playing BattleBots or what's the stupid game that you're good, the car soccer game.
Oh, Rocket League.
Rocket League. Like that. They're just bashing into everything. All good. Up, running, no problems.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, well, they always run and lead with their head. Like they just put the heaviest portion of their body forward, and they just let the momentum take them. Like I never understood why they ran like that. My kids did the same thing.
Or they swing their limbs around like they're in a mosh pit. And fists, like closed fists, hands going all over the place, feet going all over the place. They're laughing, having the time of their life, and your kid is beating you up.
Yeah, they're reenacting the scene with Bart and Lisa in hockey where they're just going to swing their arms like this, and if you happen to get hit, it's your own fault.
Right.
All right, bye.
So that happened, and doing okay so far. A little sensitive, like I said, but able to move on and do everything I needed to do today.
It sucks because you're getting older. I mean, we didn't really talk about it last week. You celebrated a birthday this past Saturday.
Yeah, I did.
How did that go?
It went swimmingly.
We talked a little bit, and we said our happy birthdays to you, and the kids messages. But
yeah, it went fine. There were some issues
for Erik Nagel's 55th birthday.
What's this 50 shit, old man?
Hey, you're older than I am.
No, I'm not.
You are by like a year.
Am I really?
Yeah.
Oh, you look then you look terrible. You look
sun.
way worse than I do.
It's the Arizona sun. It ages you 10 years.
I had a friend from high school post something. Let me see where it is. She posted something on her Facebook, and she's one of those women that can understand and appreciate dark and terrible humor. So, a good egg, as we call them. So she had posted something on her Facebook. Let me see where it is, because then I'll tell you what my response was to it.
I do like a good response. Like every now and then, like you'll post something. Like the other day, you posted your child greeted you with a nice fake Mickey pizza, and you had mentioned it, and it was a good sentiment. My immediate reaction was, I think Portnoy gave it a 5.9. Just I'm kind of just shitting on your kid's pizza, and I was just like, all right, Erik will appreciate that little. I did. That jab. It's not going to be offensive in any way.
So they reposted a previous post from a few years back. So not only am I turning blah, blah, blah next week, but in September, I'll be at my job for 25 years, and now I'm depressed. So that was the old post. Mm-hmm. And then they do the repost thing, and it says, imagine how I feel today. And I wrote like sandpaper or a burlap sack. Right? Not really something you want to say to an aging woman, but no. I figured she's enough of a terrible person in her sense of humor that she would get it. And she goes, imagine how you must feel being older and all, which I think I'm barely older than her, right? And this is what I say. It's like, I look better than the majority of people around our age that I went to school with or whatever. Sorry I leaned on the effects machine.
You're retiring from baseball now?
Because they all look weathered as hell. They're bald or they're just, I don't know if it's a hard life of working, drinking, drugs, all three. But a lot of people hit the wall, and I look fabulous because I use a lot of product. I have a lot of product. I have routines that I got to do. I have, what do they call regimens?
A regimen. Yeah, you have a whole drawer of Bath and Body Works hand soaps.
That's not for the regimen. That's just for a weird obsession. Yeah,
it's like it's a literal drawer. Like he opens it up and it's just all lined up.
Yeah, you can go back in the show and find it, where it's usually the first or second show of January when we do it. For the emergency 75% off sales for Bath and Body Works, and I just go and buy up all their peppermint products.
You're like, it's winter all the time here,
right? So there's I think let's see, the studio bathroom has some of the home bathrooms have some. Yeah, there's a bunch of peppermint stuff, or lemon's the other one. All the different variations of lemon. Usually are for other bathrooms or the kitchen, but there you have it.
It's weird that, she was talking about, like, I've almost been at my job this long. I was actually doing the same thing where the other day I was doing the timing on it. I started my job and in my business that I'm doing, not with the same company, but in the same like field, 2007. I'm like, oh my God, I'm almost hitting 20 years old. And it's just freaking me out that everything keeps just aging quickly. Like, that movie Eurotrip. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I love Eurotrip. Scotty doesn't know. Oh, I know where you're going with
20 years old.
Right.
Like, wow. Like, I saw that in the theater and I'm like, wait, how is this 20 years old? It's ridiculous.
Oh, like that? Fan of Twitch, 60, flirty, and thriving. Oh, no. Oh no. If I saw a guy write that, I'd be laughing. When I see women write stuff like that, you just go, that is depressingly sad. Yes, we're an equal society. Men are just like women. We're not. We're really not. I thought I had something here. I did. All right. Oh, there it is.
Women will like what I tell them to like.
Yes. Words to live by, Lloyd. Words to live by. Before we get into the Eurotrip thing, let's look into the chat thing here. Our pal Tom from Alberta, who I understand made another trip out to Arizona.
Yeah, he was out here yesterday. Unfortunately, I had too much going on, but Aaron ended up meeting up with him, and I guess they chatted for a little while, and we got another giant smattering of Canadians' finest snacks.
That's
and
fantastic.
he put in some Canadian, I think, energy drinks,
Right.
things like beaver juice or something, which sounds disgusting, but I can't wait to try those. And things like ketchup Cheetos. So I'm going to make sure some of those get out to you.
I got the buffalo Cheetos. You got the ketchup ones. So we'll have to swap and send
That'll
some
be good.
stuff over there. Tom from Alberta, your skin will age better when you spend 95% of the time in a dark basement. That's not true. All those introverts that stay into their gaming rooms or basements or whatever they're doing, they eventually turn gray. Like they start turning the color of their gaming light.
Yeah,
in
they
your
get that
room.
weird pallor, dark eyes.
Light. Well, I don't know why it got so. Something reprogrammed here. Why it got all dim. I don't know why. It should be a lot more vivid. There it goes. All right.
Oh, there it is.
There we go. Much better. Noodles there. Your plastic surgeon is a magician. Yeah, I should. I know. I just found out somebody I know. They're like around 30, maybe 32 at the oldest. And
Zia. No, I'm just kidding.
Zia's got tons of work going on there.
Right.
And that's not a bad thing. It's just, but she's very public about it that she gets I think she just had another boob job that she recovered from.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, she's on live right now as we're doing this show
I'm
with
sure
one
she
of my favorite people, Mint Salad. You know who that is?
Yeah.
She's that crazy chick that does movie reviews without seeing the movies.
That's a good bit.
She's fucking funny. She really is.
That's really funny.
Yeah. But Zia talks about all her stuff, so it's nothing out of school. But there was somebody I found out again, like maybe 32 at the oldest, and they've been getting Botox injections for at least 2 years.
That's weird.
At 30, like what is going on in your life that you are so emotionally fragile that you feel that you need to get that? Like how hard can you look at 30 that you need to consider that?
Male or female?
Female. I just said.
Well,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you don't know nowadays, so yeah, that's a fair question. Go ahead.
I just figured they just put some crazy standards on things where, like, people just don't want to age gracefully anymore. Like, I at some point don't care if this has gotten whiter. I'm looking at pictures of me when my son is, just a baby and my beard was brown. Mm-hmm. And I'm now looking like, I've aged 50 years in 8. And I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah, you sent me a photo of you. How old is that photo? Like, how old are you in that?
I must have been in my 20s, like early 20s.
You look like, I don't know. What did I say?
You said Stephen Baldwin.
Yeah, you did. You look like Stephen Baldwin in one of those movies that no one gives a shit about, or all of his movies.
I was going to free the mahi mahi.
Yeah, something like
even
that.
Even the hair was like slicked down forward. I'm like, what the hell?
What's the Pauly Shore movie he did? Biodome?
It was Biodome. It was free mahi mahi.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was just, I know.
All right.
Like, I don't know. I still don't want to do like Botox. I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. I don't care that much.
Gabby going back to the shirt saying you should have worn it for Halloween, Erik in Cuba. Look, she's in Mexico. Gabby, get me something like a good silk shirt that's all Day of the Dead stuff down there. Something authentic from there. I will definitely wear that. That's cool.
That'll be cool.
That'll be awesome there. Other people, I see our pal Girk's in there. Hey, Girk, how you doing? And our other friend, Krista, is in there. She's part of Girk's. I'm not calling it Girk Nation. It's so stupid.
She playing
Girk's
last
Ensemble
night. Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of.
Aaron saying you have a whole bag of the ketchup Cheetos Tom brought for you.
Yeah.
See, Aaron could have ratted you out had you told me, you only had one bag and then you kept the others.
I wouldn't have done that.
Like you do for Aaron when I send you the beef rib chips and you tell him, he only sent me one bag and you really have 4 of them.
Well, that's it, everybody. Good night. That man has never seen a pickle Slim Jim in his life.
Tom from Alberta, I found the beef. I keep forgetting how to pronounce the Korean food. Bulgogi chips for you. Thank you very much, Tom. I can't wait to try all that out. Aaron's like, I fucking knew it.
I got to see this guy in a couple days. Shut up.
Go support all of them on the I Didn't Watch It podcast there. Let's see here.
Just we watch movies and give our reviews.
Yeah. Noodles, just because we're stuck in a bubble doesn't mean we can't cause any trouble.
I love
that. Rhymed. I'm guessing that was a line from the movie. Gabby's saying, all my friends do Botox. We're all 35. We can't pay enough to have needles in my face on purpose.
There's no chance Gabby's 35 years old. What a liar. Look at that picture.
Oh, I got to look this way.
Yeah, you look the other way.
There we go.
That's not 35.
Yeah. No, I don't get it. It's like the same addiction when people get into tattoos, but they have really shitty tattoos. Like, I know there's people who have genuine addictions to getting work done, but they're all very thought out. They're all very planned well. And sometimes they're like, oh, this is going to take about 5 to 6 sessions to get done. That's a lot of commitment. And that means they really thought about what they're doing. And for that, I can respect that. I don't appreciate any of it, but I can respect what they're doing because they're taking the time to do it right or have it done right and make something of it that they have to represent for the rest of their life. And when you see people who are constantly getting like doodles on a sketch pad all over their arms, their fingers, they're getting them on the bottom of their feet now or in the palms of their hands. Girls get them on their boobs, which look terrible, but it's just all little scribbles and stuff. Oh, this means something to me, and that means something to me, and this means something to me. It's like, pick a theme. Pick a theme. Stop. Like, I have a million Post-it notes here of stuff that I need to do, things to take care of. That's the equivalent of getting that tattooed on you. It's like reminder notes. Pick a theme.
That's your tattoo is a Post-it note.
Right.
There you go.
So you get the Post-it note, like the big orange thing tattooed on your like your pectoral or your arm. And then you just get a Sharpie where you can write in.
Do it on your forearm right here, like where I have mine. And then that's where you draw your notes, and you've always got your Post-it note right there. That's your tattoo.
Okay. I could do that. No, I can't.
You just get that washable marker. You're like, I'm not doing that.
I wanted to get a tattoo once, and then I kept thinking about it, and then I said, no, it's not worth getting.
You overthought it? Yeah.
Then the kid came around. And I had that thought again. I was like, maybe something simple, something tasteful. I know people who have their kids' footprints tattooed.
Oh, I thought about that when my daughter was being born, and they look like just blobs of ink.
Yeah.
After like a little bit, I'm like,
But I know guys that have it on them. And I will never say it to them because they're athletes and they'll kick the shit out of me. But I've seen the people with those things and it doesn't look good. They have the footprints on there, and then they have like a little ribbon or something that has the birth date or the kid's name or something like that. I never thought of going that far, but I thought about maybe getting the kid's name tattooed somewhere, like on my arm or something like that. Something nice and simple, basic, But the longer it goes, I do think about it time to time, but the longer it goes, it's just like, it's not really my thing. I'm not a tattoo guy. I don't think I'll ever do it or, no identifying marks, that kind of stuff. I just can't do the tattoo thing at all. Even the basic stuff. Like I know people who have the wedding ring tattooed on them, which I think is completely dumb. It's a nice gesture, but what happens if you get divorced and you get it filled in? Like, stop having solutions to making dumb decisions to have another dumb decision.
Right, just compounding.
So maybe
the problem.
Just buy the wedding ring if you're going to be married, and if the marriage falls apart, you don't wear the ring anymore. You sell it. You do whatever you want with it, or, well, no, it doesn't matter if they pass away. You did keep the tattoo because you're remembering the person, so that doesn't count. Yeah, don't get wedding tattoos. Don't get anniversary tattoos. Your kids' tattoos. Any of that stuff. Heather in the chat
Speaking of, I
saying,
have 2 kids tattooed.
well, that's your problem.
is my
Heather saying,
problem.
I almost got the footprints. Thank God I had a moment of clarity. Yeah, the footprints are not done well at all.
Yeah,
They're just
they usually
big
because after a while
black
the
blob.
ink kind of just they kind of just morph together. Those little toes just start sinking into. It's like the tectonic plates, like Pangea, just starts coming together, and it never looks good. It just doesn't. Like I got this one when my daughter was born. She was maybe 6 months old, and her middle name is Rose, so I thought it was cool. She's got her initials on there.
But that's symbolism.
It is, and that's the point. Like there's a reason for it.
That's not that bad, though.
Yeah,
Symbolism isn't that bad. If you had her head blooming through the center of the rose,
Gross.
yeah, something like that is what a lot of dumb people do.
Yeah, no, I'm not that crazy. Now I've gotten to a point where it's like I want to get another tattoo, and I'm like you right now. I'm like overthinking it because there's like big projects I want to do, and I know it's going to cost a lot of money and time. So I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. And then there's like the moments where I just want to do something stupid. Like this past time we were in Vegas, I almost got something dumb, but we just couldn't find a place. But I definitely would have done it. And it was
You were going to get the
stupid.
Blink 182 logo, weren't you?
No, I was going to get so I was going to get on my wrist right here, on my right wrist, a line drawing of Ralph Wiggum. And underneath it would have said, I am a Star Wars. It would have been perfect.
That would have been so.
It would have been awesome.
That would have been so the R word.
I'm going to get it.
That could also be the show title.
So the R word.
Could have been so the R word. No, that's just dumb.
Yeah, why
that's
not?
dumb. I'm glad you didn't do it. I mean, too bad you didn't have moments of clarity for the other tattoos. I know the rose is symbolistic of or symbolic of your daughter, and that's if you have to go that route, that's the way to do something.
So you're saying the giant Han Solo blaster for my son is not as cool? His middle name is Harrison.
It's not.
It is.
Although it is better than if you would have had his old face tattooed on your arm. So every time you're going down to eat, and you're just seeing him staring at you.
It's like stop watching me eat.
It's the disgruntled expression on his face from the presidential airplane movie where he's like, "Get off my plane," and that's the face you captured on there. It's like that's not even the right character.
Or just do something really obscure that no one would ever remember he was in, like 6 Days, 7 Nights. Like, why would you pick that movie? I like that movie. Just so random.
Heather saying, my cousin has a tattoo of herself in lingerie on her leg. You could always do that.
Heather, I don't know your cousin. Why would I get her on my leg?
That is so weird. My pal Twisted. Hi, Twisted. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you for stopping by. We got to get back to Eurotrip. So we were talking about Eurotrip, the 20th anniversary of Eurotrip.
I couldn't believe it.
So you want to feel if you want to feel older than you already do, that is a milestone. I do love how I constantly see millennials posting online saying like, I can't believe they're hitting 35 to the 40 range. Mm-hmm. I can't believe this thing's over there. It's like, where did my childhood go? It's like your whole life was your fucking childhood. Now
you're still in your childhood.
Yeah, relax. And then the generation after them, the Zoomers, don't give a shit about any of this stuff. They have no sense of appreciation for anything that is aged out of either their known universe or came before it. Like they're just numb to anything. I don't think they enjoy happiness. Most of the time, they all seem very numb,
and they're constantly doing things
numb.
Like
Dr. Steve. Yes,
they're just constantly doing things like, oh, this couldn't get made today. And I was like, well, no shit, it was made then, where we could get away with some of this stuff. Like, Eurotrip is pretty good. There was Sex Drive, which was really funny. Like you're right. Look, you can't make those.
Frankie Bronson's back in the chat. I hope he's behaving himself this time around. But he's back in the chat. And look, I agree. I stick my dick in pies because of the 90s movies. Who didn't?
Look, I've got friends sticking their dick in popcorn buckets.
Nobody thought, like, when they're talking about apple pie from American Pie.
Yeah.
Nice, warm apple pie. Nobody thought about that. Some writer thought about it, or some writer did that and translated it to paper because he's like, hey, this happened in my life. Let's put it in the movie. Then everybody thought, does it really feel like that?
Yeah, but you know what the discourse about that movie would be nowadays? Oh, so he basically set up a hidden camera to film a woman getting undressed, and that's essentially rape. You know what I mean? Like
I get it now. Like I do get it, but back then everybody was like, "Yeah," you know, the way the kids were expressing themselves in the movie.
Blink 182 was in that movie.
I will be fair. Even if it happened back then on those dial-up modems,
oh my God,
that was still illegal. We all know it was illegal. It's terrible. But it was okay to laugh at it in the sense of comedy and the movie back then. You don't do it, but you do laugh that you do it. Like if you go back and look at what's the old one, the raunch movie, the raunch comedy that kind of led to all of this shit. Porky's. Yeah. Wasn't there a scene where the guy sticks his dick through a hole?
There was a peephole in the women's locker room at like their high school. So like all the women were getting, you know, they're showering, doing all this stuff, and they were all looking through. So then one guy would stick his tongue through and be like, "Hey, come get me," you know, whatever. And then like someone stuck his dick in, and then of course the large female like coach came and grabbed his dick right through that hole. So yeah, that was like the start of like some of those raunchier comedies. And I don't know. I feel like we just
this is an old reference from Frankie Bronson. My favorite titty pause movie back in the day. Yes, when you'd have to pause the VCR just because it would only flash for a second, and you had to try to nail it without getting the the video squelch in the middle there where the line is, hoping you get a perfect still of the movie.
Yeah, there was a run through like the 80s and partly in the 90s where these movies were being made constantly. You had like Ski School, The Sex Drive. I mean, they went away and they started to kind of make
Ski School was one of my favorite because it's a classically bad movie. Yeah. It's the quintessential. We got to ski and compete to save the mountain from the billionaire or no, it wasn't billionaires back then. The millionaire that wanted to like level the resort and turn it into like condos or something, whatever the concept was. We're gonna race for it was like in the 50s and the 70s, they were racing for pinks. Their papers where they would go down and they would race for the ownership of your the title deed for your car. Now it was like we gotta race race and ski to save the mountain from the millionaire developer, so this will stay open.
Which is funny because they had that same process here with Out Cold. War and Peace, I was thinking the exact same movie. They did that one. I don't know if I know
Out Cold.
You may have remember seeing the trailer where the guys were in the car. Galifianakis is passed out at the driver's seat because he drank too much. So they have it on like snow, and they start spinning the car on the ice. And then they start screaming and wake him up, and he's thinking he was driving off the road. It's one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Oh, man, it is super good.
No, I have not seen this movie here. All right, I'll have to make a... Oh, wait a minute. The guy on the right of the poster, wasn't he from...
Mallrats?
London, right?
One of the Londons, because they're twins. So I never remember which London is in this one and which one was in...
All right, yeah, I've never seen this movie. I'll have to make a note to watch it.
It's really funny.
All right. Wait a minute, is John Lithgow in it? Oh, that's a different Out Cold. This Out Cold I want to watch too. John Lithgow, Terry Garr, and Randy Quaid.
I love Terry Garr.
I don't know not every criminal is a mastermind. I'm going to have an Out Cold night.
Double Out Cold movies?
Double Out Cold movies.
All right, I'm writing that one down because I like John Lithgow.
I do too.
I still need to watch Ricochet with John Lithgow, so maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, I haven't watched that either. Oh, I did watch a movie that you'll be surprised when we start off segment 2.
Okay.
You're going to love it here. Frankie Bronson saying it's a huge Swedish titty movie. All right.
So good.
So glib, but I think it warrants here because when I tell you the movie that I watched in the next segment, you'll laugh at the title. I'm going to give that one as well.
Yeah. Oh, and Noodles is, what's the movie Josh Hartnett back in the day where he's trying not to fuck to win over the girl or whatever? You're thinking of 40 Days and 40 Nights, I believe.
I did see that one.
That's the one where he was giving up sex for Lent or something like that. That's the chick from Knight's Tale. I think she had like a run for
Shannon. She spelled it with a Y.
Yeah, Saucy Man. Yeah. get over yourself. You did like
pretty.
5 movies.
I did remember seeing 40 Days and 40 Nights. Anyway, but then you had mentioned there's this other list because we talked about this and it led to another list about movies we used to love that are cringe now.
Just makes me mad because I'm looking through this list.
Don't say what it is.
I'm not going to look. I'm just looking through it, and just what I'm like seeing these lists for. There's only one movie maybe I don't think I've seen.
Yes.
Everything else I have seen, and I don't find the reasoning they're picking these movies apart doesn't make sense to me. Well,
I like this movie, and I will admit I like the franchise. I don't like the movies that are
the spinoffs.
It's called American Pie. But American Pie became a National Lampoon franchise. There's several other American Pie movies that have nothing to do with this movie except Eugene Levy's in them.
Yeah, he just was in every one of them too.
And those are garbage, like the Naked Run or the Naked Mile. And then
they did one for Stifler's little brother.
They did one for Stifler's sister or cousin or something in there. There's the girl who's in Gen V now, Lizzie Broadway. Yep. She was one of the leads in something about female high school students going to college or something for an American Pie thing. But the 3 American Pie movies and then American Wedding. So those 4.
Yep. And I've watched them all.
Fantastic. Love them. Great soundtracks, what have you. Love Eugene Levy in them. In fact, if you don't listen to the end of the show, the very last thing said on this program each and every week is by Mr. Eugene Levy.
I love him so much.
This movie was always cringe. Fuck you. It was not. It's difficult to say whether anyone really liked American Pie. We all did.
Everybody did.
Even at the time, or if it was the mystique of watching a movie with such taboo content that drew everyone's attention. American Pie was the type of movie to stunt cast the Playboy Playmate of the Month for a cutaway gag, to play 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies over a cyber sex scene. Hold on.
Yeah,
Good. I should have had that there. Here we go.
I know.
It's been.
There you go. Whose underrated cut was likely stashed behind the bookshelf in your friend's older sibling bedroom. That is not true. I have a poster signed by almost the entire cast. I think one person's missing off of it. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to change the wall. I'll put it up for next week because fuck this person. Sorry for the harsh language, but seriously. It's an achievement to cast nearly every iconic young actress of the 1990s as a high school sex object, but not one that should be admired. When we say studio comedies with big ensemble casts need to make a comeback, we do not mean this one.
Bullshit. More movies like this.
Fuck this person. And Frankie Bronson's right. That one, I don't know if it was the first or the second movie when they're playing the Sum 41's In Too Deep and they're all just doing the little virtual cheers thing across the party.
I remember that.
Fantastic way to end the movie. And then
Blink 182 was in the first movie when they had her on the webcam.
Stifler's mother is hooking up with Shit Dick or whatever his name is. Not Shit Dick, Shit Brick.
He wouldn't take a shit in public, so he always had to go home. Shit
yeah,
Brick.
Thank you. I couldn't think of Shit Dick something else, which I apologize for. But maybe it was in the movie too. I don't know. Maybe, there you go. Exactly, Tom got it right.
Keep it real, homies.
There you go. American Pie, those 4 movies, fantastic.
I would say without American Pie, you wouldn't get things like Saving Silverman. Like that started a good just run.
Saving Silverman is nowhere near as good as the American Pie movies.
I love Saving Silverman.
I do too, but just because of certain parts. Overall, it's not that great a movie. But there's certain parts that make me appreciate and enjoy the movie. American Pie, I love the movie because there's so many different storylines going on. American Beauty, they don't like. American Beauty is often the first movie that comes up when we think about movies that used to be universally beloved or iconic or highly rated and are now barely talked about. It was the second best reviewed film of 1999 behind Being John Malkovich. It won an Oscar and now people roll their eyes if you even mention it. That is not true because they think of 2 things. They think of
Suvari.
Yeah, Laying in the Roses. And then they think about that movie every time you see a plastic bag just flying around.
I made that reference literally yesterday.
Yeah. Anytime you see that plastic bag flying around, you think of American Beauty.
Every time.
In this case, there's one very obvious reason the recent cancellation of its stars over allegations of sexual predatory behavior was cleared, by the way, and plenty of thematic ones. Viewed today, there's something overly callous and mean about American Beauty's portrayal over the hollow prison of suburban living, where sexuality is repressed and teen girls are groomed by pencil-pushing patriarchs. It's a mean movie about mean people, and given its famous ambiguous stance on every timely talking point it brings up, what's the point of it all?
I don't. This is why this one makes me mad. Fine, make your points about everything or what the content. Not liking this movie because someone in that movie now is in trouble for something, not when he made it, is ridiculous. Then you have to hate every Sean Connery movie because he famously said, yeah, it's okay to hit women when they're getting lippy. Like, shut the hell up. Like, I watched Seven the other day. Do you think I cared that Kevin Spacey was in it? No, it's a fan-fucking-tastic movie. Stop
Unusual Suspects.
I love Usual Suspects.
I said Unusual Suspects.
You did, and I corrected you quickly.
Yes,
but
Usual Suspects.
And, you can't just sit there and do that for everything. You'll never watch an older movie again because guess what? They were all assholes. Mm-hmm. Every movie star was an asshole. Get over it.
16 Candles.
God, so stupid.
It's a historical movie for a generation. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I get it.
All right. I like Pretty in Pink better.
16 Candles, the John Hughes. Yes, John Hughes is the voice of a generation. And yes, Molly Ringwald is an 80s TV movie icon, but something about 16 Candles just doesn't hold up. Maybe it's the famously embarrassing racist caricature, or maybe it's
dong.
funny, or maybe it's the pervasive sexism on display for every character, male or female, and the predatory ways in which teenage boys treat the objects of their affections. Again,
don't tell this writer about weird science.
The scene where Jake hands off his intoxicated girlfriend to a minor as if she's some rite of passage. Yikes. During its best moments, 16 Candles works when it embraces the melancholy feelings that sometimes surround birthdays and the inherent playfulness, nastiness of teen friendships and relationships. Maybe there's a whole scene where they're yelling about banana pudding and what they didn't get because somebody got her the wrong fucking cake.
I laughed so hard when Long Duck Dong's hanging in the tree. He flips upside down, sees the bigger girl, and he goes, "Big American girlfriend." I just fucking toss my cookies. We got to
pull that drop. I'll put that in here.
Yeah,
it stumbles when it tries to take anything cute out of its darker material. To get your Hughes fix, just stick to The Breakfast Club. Ugh. Okay, we're at the top of the list. This is the one that's going to piss off everybody else if the rest of the list hasn't done so already.
Punch my computer. Number one.
Their number one movie that they feel is the most cringe. Ghostbusters. Let me say it again. What did they say? Say it again for the people in the back. Ghostbusters is a fucking problem movie.
It's problematic, people. Sure, it's a franchise that's still continuing to make movies out this month, but sure, shit on the Ghostbusters.
Despite launching a lengthy franchise and despite its nerdy cult movie status, we have to admit to ourselves that the original Ghostbusters movie is pretty bad. Its horror comedy jokes don't land. Its characters are tough to root for. The effects are clunky, and the surprise romance at the end is mostly perfunctory. I don't know that term. Perfunctory.
It means it just shouldn't exist. It's like it's not needed.
Perfunctory. Adding that into the vocabulary now, so I will remember that. Here's the curmudgeon. This person is pulling out all the stops because they can't think of anything else to say here. Here's the curmudgeonly effect that made Bill Murray such a beloved comedic star is mainly annoying, and Sigourney Weaver is reduced to a ghost-possessed eye candy. For one of the most iconic, quote, horror movies of the 1980s, stop there. It's not a horror movie. It's not a horror movie. It's an action movie. It's a comedy movie. It's a fantasy movie. It's not a horror movie at all. Does anybody think of it as a horror movie?
I mean, as a kid, it was a little scary, and I remember showing it to my kids, thinking, "Okay, I
Horror
gotta
adjacent at best."
But it's not anywhere close to what horror movies in the 80s were supposed to be.
Right. For one of the most iconic horror movies of the 1980s, it falls flat when you actually sit down to watch it. The costumes are still cool, though. Fuck this person.
Yeah. No, I mean, you
it's
sent
a
this
female.
list. I scrolled down. This is the first movie, and I'm like, I can't do this. This has already made me mad.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that movie.
So if you want to
Hell, there's nothing wrong with the sequel to that movie.
If you want to reach out to one Emma Stefanski of Screen Crush, go find her social media and feel free to share your thoughts on what you thought about her list. By the way, she also contributed to the Eurolist, even though she wasn't the main writer.
She's the worst.
Just letting you know.
Just the worst.
Heather saying, I'm going to feed these people their own fucking faces. Aaron saying, this list is invalid. Frankie Bronson saying, ghosts always be white. They're playa hating. I get it. They just drew 4 ads on me, so I can't even listen to how wrong these people. Oh, yeah, sorry. Twitch took over and has been doing ad placements without the timing that we wanted for it. So if you're getting ads while you're watching the show, subscribe, and then the ads go away. There you go. Library ghost haunted my childhood. They
brought her back for this new one.
The librarian at the beginning of the movie, where she kind of goes like this, shh, and he goes a little closer. Then she turns around and gets all pissed off.
Well, no, he's like, I've got a plan. Just follow my lead. Get her. And she just like music starts playing. They're running out, and then Bill Murray's just like, get her. Great plan, Ray. I just fucking I love that movie. I'm gonna watch it tonight just to piss fucking this person off.
So
because I will sit down and watch it, and it will still be funny. It will still hit all the beats, and that man still has no dick.
Yeah, but he's back.
He's back.
Walter Peck is back in the new Ghostbusters movie coming out. What is
the
it?
end of the
29th?
Month? Yeah, it should be
March 29th. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. So if you were watching on Twitch and you're getting the ads and everything, so you have to subscribe and the ads go away and you don't have that problem. Same thing with YouTube there too. But before we go to break, since we're mentioning YouTube, I just want to mention really quick: does anyone else have this problem with the YouTube app being so extremely sensitive on your phone? So if you're watching something, right? And if I just put the phone down, or if I put the phone down like this and I brush against it, it skips to another video.
I've had that
something
happen.
that it's not even content that I wanted. It's just whatever showed up, I guess, in a paid sponsorship spot, or maybe it's something that the algorithm thinks is related and it's not. Or if you have it on and you put it in your pocket, it stops the video or it changes to something else. Like, you can't do anything with the fucking YouTube app open, and it constantly changes off whatever you're watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And I don't know why. And it just seems recently too. Like, it never used to do that.
Right. Fix your shit, YouTube. Oh, you can't. You just laid off your entire Austin, Texas office.
Yeah.
I heard rumor that there might be more coming. Every company doesn't know what to do. That they keep laying off. We got to get the profits up. We got to get the investment and everything. Yeah, but then what happens come the next year? You just let everybody go from
short-sighted,
from EA, from PlayStation, from other video game companies that made billion-dollar games. You laid off hundreds of people there. Radio companies are doing it. TV companies doing it. Warner Brothers is doing it every day. They just shut down
Rooster Teeth.
Teeth.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in segment 2. But yeah. I mean, our friend Brian Shea, Game It For, just laid off a writer on his staff. You know, he was talking about it on his podcast, and it's just like,
that's a little different when you have budget crunches like that, and you got to let a couple people go. That's unfortunate. That's different than, hey, we need to cut 6% of the workforce, so 1,900 people need to go. And you're like, what? Why? Oh, because that movie that we put out didn't make as much money as we thought it did, so we're just going to let all these people go. They're working on your major franchises right now. Yeah, they got to go. That's what radio does. Radio, a company out in L.A. just let go all of their midday talent on all their stations in L.A. All gone.
That's weird.
Yeah. They're like, well, we weren't making no, the profits were down, and not making as much money as we used to here. So we just figured they constantly are cutting the air talent and the production people, the producers, all of those things that make your fucking radio station. Your music is not saving your station anymore because now you're Spotify with ads. Well, you're not even Spotify with ads. You're just a playlist that I can't skip.
Yeah.
And then you throw commercials in there that I have to sit there and listen. No, I don't. Actually, I can go to Spotify and skip around and play the playlist that I want. You don't have to sit there and listen to music radio anymore because you listen to radio for the personalities. That's all you got. You got to protect your personalities. You got to protect your morning shows, your afternoon shows, your evening shows. But no, they chop all that shit down. Oh, we'll get cheaper people to work it. They'll just read the liners and they'll read the ads and stuff like that. And then nobody listens to the thing. Well, we needed to make 6% more at the end of the year. I don't know why I keep going to 6, but 6% more on this thing here. And all right, cool. Then what happens the next fiscal year when that starts? You don't have anybody. You have no content. You can't sell anything. You can't syndicate anything. Oh, we're going to look at it into the AI radio program. Yeah, no one's going to listen to that. How well did it work for the Christian radio company, that K-Love, that went and bought all those stations that were essentially foreclosing, sold for pennies on the dollar for those stations? They have no ratings. Nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody listens to them. But that's okay. That's just the way everything goes now. Every company's got to let people go. There's a video going around, going back to YouTube, a department in Austin, Texas, where it was YouTube Music, right? I think, specifically. Big office down there. Apparently, working conditions has been terrible for a long time. For all of that they got together and they were trying to unionize because it was so bad.
Right.
That Google and whoever the other company was. That
it was a subcontract, Cognizant.
Right.
Which sounds like a terrible company name, but
just constantly was shortchanging them, underpaying them, not paying their overtime in some cases that they were owed, and then throwing more responsibility, more work onto them. It got to the point where that entire branch just said, enough, we can't work like this anymore. So they went to unionize and went to a council meeting, a town council or city council meeting to address this stuff. Here, you have the article there, right?
Yeah.
Can you read that blurb that you put up there?
So basically, an Austin City Council meeting was interrupted when YouTube Music staff were laid off halfway through during the meeting, which took place on February 29th. The workers from YouTube Music were commenting on a proposed resolution to basically either unionize or increase their pay. The meeting came after they had been negotiating with Google and a subcontractor Cognizant to receive better pay as well as job security. The staff members have been protesting against the company for the past year with issues over pay, job security, and company benefits. They've also been protesting a return to office policy that was introduced in 2023, which, whatever, go to the office. In the meeting, council member, whatever, called on Google, the parent company of YouTube, as well as Cognizant to enter into negotiations with the group of workers. But halfway through, as someone was talking, another staff member came up to that person and got on mic and said, yeah, we just found out we got laid off.
Right, so, as they were at the town council meeting.
They were literally at the council meeting talking about it, and they got laid off mid sentence.
Unreal.
Yeah.
How does any company get anything done anymore?
I don't know.
Like every facet of anything out there, maybe except like the cars, the car union stuff, they figured shit out, and it took a long time, but they got their stuff back together. But anything that deals with some form of entertainment is constantly getting cut at the knees.
Yeah.
So how is anybody making a living? How are these companies even functioning with this?
I don't know.
Well, we got rid of all these people. We're just going to have you got new responsibilities now. Am I getting any more money? No. This is just going to be your new thing now. No, it's not going to be my new thing now. All right, well, then you're not going to work here anymore either. We'll get somebody in who's dumb and desperate enough to pop in here, work for less money, and take all that workload on for less than what you're making right here.
Right. It's just a constant factory of trying to pay the person the lowest amount to do the same amount of work.
So there's videos of the council meeting. Then there's the video in the office where they're being told that they're being let go. And like, when can we leave? Well, you got to log out from this, and we got another meeting that's coming up that we got to go through here. And then when that's done, you can leave.
Yeah, you got to offboard, and we got to make sure we can get our stuff back, or all the. Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah, because you're going to get paid. Like at that point, you would be like, screw you. I'm not giving you your shit back. I'm done. Bye. I'm not doing anything with it. I just would take the hard drive and throw it in the garbage on the way out.
come get me.
Yeah. Then there were things online too that they said that some of the people were this. I don't know if is actually true, but they were saying that people were forcefully removed from the office by security. That one girl had bruises and stuff because they grabbed her and dragged her and then kind of pushed her out. So these were all those were tweets. I haven't seen actual photos of that. What I did see was the video that one person had where they were announcing in the office that they were being let go and that they had another meeting to go to. And then the video clips of the town council where they're all sitting there telling they're unionizing, trying to get their stuff together and, give the presentation to the council to recognize it, that they need to step in and do something here. And Google goes, just fire them all.
Yeah.
Or whoever the subsidiary company was that Google didn't say no to, but maybe the subsidiary company did it.
Yeah, so basically it was like, YouTube and Google hired this, it's like a temp agency almost, and then Cognizant's like, yeah, we can lay you off. Who cares? So technically it doesn't fall under Google or YouTube. So they're trying to say it wasn't us that made the decision. Don't hate us. It's them. So everyone's just trying to push the blame to another entity of some kind.
I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. They're valuing look, I understand profits. I understand that everyone's got to make money. But when you're in a time when inflation's terrible, economics are terrible right now, at least in this country, worldwide, not the best, but it's pretty bad here right now. Mm-hmm. And you're just letting all these people go it's a quick fix. You're putting like a Band-Aid on and you're not, sewing up the wound. So when the Band-Aid gets all infected and bloodied and comes right off, you still got that big gaping wound there that you're not going to be able to take care of because, you let everybody go or you can't function at the level that your company was supposed to function anymore.
Mm-hmm. And you got to spend more time training people to get that back up to that level. And then you got to get rid of them again when they make too much money.
Didn't we say last week with the PlayStation, like a lot of the people that got let go from the PlayStation firing were working on the Spider-Man video games for them?
Yeah, there was some layoffs from the company that did Spider-Man. I think The Last of Us, they laid off an entire UK division that was handling a lot of like some racing games and like their SingStar and all those games that maybe weren't doing as well. So they just get rid of an entire group of people.
Right.
So yeah, it's coming in. It's hitting hard.
Ridiculous. It's just never gonna. And you're doing this. Here's what else to keep in mind. These are a lot of younger people that are working at YouTube Music. You screw them over. They're also they're one step closer to banning TikTok now. It passed one form of legislation approval. And now it's going for the final one. I don't know if it goes to the Senate now or if it just passed the Senate and goes somewhere else. But that's going to if that's getting closer. If that happens, all right, that's billions of people on TikTok. But the majority of people who use TikTok, and as much as I hate a lot of those influencers on there, are younger voters. Mm-hmm. You're doing this in a general election cycle.
I know.
Where the majority of anything that you can vote for is happening this year, from president all the way down to local politics. And you're going to screw them over. Now, look, this isn't rallying for Trump, but I'm just like, Trump's not in power right now. The administration that's currently in power is the one responsible for this. That happens, they've already got enough problems with people not happy with how they're handling Israel and Palestine. You got enough people pissed off at them for the way the economy is going and inflation right now. You add this, you lost the majority of the younger vote, which they rely heavily on for that party. They're just constantly shooting themselves in the foot with this. Why? If you were serious about this, any side, wouldn't you wait till next year to do this after the election's done?
I would.
Because then it's minimal consequences. No, they're doing it right as the candidates are being determined. It's pretty much Trump and Biden going into the general election, and you're the one in power right now, and you do this, doesn't matter everything else, you lost the young vote. They're already pissed off that they can't do Taylor Swift stuff and a lot of the other artists that they like on Universal Music Group. We just dealt with that this week. Some of our videos got struck because we were using certain music, which we were allowed to at the time.
Right.
So we had to go through and replace the music on some of those videos in order for those videos to be approved to go back up, which we did.
Yep.
But a lot of kids, a lot of younger people get their life off of TikTok. They learn shit, good stuff off TikTok. They learn stupid shit off of TikTok. They find most of their news on TikTok. They find most of their music on TikTok. You pull that away, look, I would love to see a lot of those influencers go away. But I know it's also dangerous to remove the entire platform. Unless you had concrete proof that China was doing something devious with this. That's a bold move. And if they pass that, you just killed off a huge portion of younger voters. Doesn't mean they're going to vote for Trump. It just might mean they won't vote. Or they'll vote for anybody else but those people.
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps going downhill. And none of these companies, nobody in the government sees this or doesn't care. They all think they're going to get their cash out and then not give a shit when the company falls apart or when the government falls apart. How much more can this keep happening? I keep saying that and it keeps happening, but how much more can this keep happening? And it does. Heather, my rage adrenaline just wore off. Y'all good luck with the political theory. It's not a theory. It's a fact. If that ban goes through, they lost a lot of young voters from that. Mm-hmm. People are not going to be happy. That's shooting themselves in the foot at the moment. If you really think that it's a security issue, there's plenty of other shit that they've been able to push off till after a major election is done. This should have been one of those things. I don't know. YouTube's fucking everybody. TikTok's getting fucked and then fucking everybody. All these companies are just letting people go. Everything kind of sucks at the moment.
But we can agree on, as a society,
American Pie is awesome.
Ghostbusters is awesome. Ghostbusters is awesome. Exactly. That's what we need to remember.
Just so dumb.
This is like Rob said. This is your State of the Union.
The State of the Union's on as we're doing this.
Right.
You think he's addressing the TikTok ban? No. He should be. It'd be funny if he was. I would be really interested in seeing that clip. But he's not going to do that.
No.
All right. We do need to take a break. We are very late from taking a break, so we need to do that. When we come back, we're going to go into segment 2, which usually involves television, moving, streaming updates. We go through all the new stuff, all the stuff that's happening, so that you do not have to. We will be right back.
More, it's Erik Nagel. It's Erik Nagel. Next. It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Erik Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itseriknagel.com. It's Erik Nagel. It's Erik Nagel. And it's back.
Segment 2 of the show. Erik, Jordan here with you, doing television, movie, streaming updates, going through all of that stuff and letting you know what is happening, what's good, what's bad, and what is worth your time, what isn't. We always start off with, what are you watching, Jordan? Anything that people should know about?
Still messing around with Halo. Still kind of on the fence on whether or not I'm enjoying it or not. It's like a hate watch at this point. Playing a lot of Helldivers with Rob. And I went and saw Dune Part 2. Dune, Too Furious.
Right.
And I am pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed that movie. It was really good. A lot better than the first half.
Who did you go see Dune with?
I went with my brother and Aaron. Aarons.
All right, because he's saying hurry up before Dune starts.
He is going to see it again.
That's your own fault. It's bad enough you saw it once. Don't rush us because you're going to see it again.
Yeah, he's going to go see it in IMAX. We were originally going to go see it in IMAX the first weekend, but the all the showings for the times we wanted to go were like literally wall to wall packed full of people, and we're not going to sit in the front row like rubes. So we went and saw the movie. It's really good. As much as I didn't enjoy the first half of that epic that they're telling, the second half is definitely much, much better. There are still some lulls, but they're not as egregious.
LOLs.
There are some LOLs in that movie.
Okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. They made some changes, for the book nerds. They did change a few things, but it makes sense story-wise to do so, and I think it looks better on screen. It made a lot of money. It's a good movie. I really did enjoy that one, surprisingly.
Well, I saw there was a quote from, I want to say, the director of the movie, that you don't need to see the first part in order to watch the second part, which seems a bit ridiculous.
That's bullshit. I'm sorry. There's so much that they set up in the first movie. As much as I didn't like how slow it felt.
Dave Bautista's in this movie?
He is. You're like, oh, hey. But yes, very, very much a very enjoyable
What's with all the
movie.
sand? Shit, I should have saw the first movie. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Why haven't they left Tatooine?
Where's Stephen Keaton from Family Ties? Where all the Tremor worms are here. Where's Kevin Bacon?
So messed up.
Anyway, so apparently a lot of people saw Dune. It had a great open weekend. Dune 2, sorry, it did better than the first one. I'm been thinking about it. I'm mulling over trying to give it a chance to go see the first one on Max. I think it's on there.
Yeah, I think it's still on Netflix, but it might be leaving soon and then Max. Yeah, because I think it's a Warner Brothers property.
This should be the show title.
How you doing?
That might be it. Look at Tom coming in for the win. All right, I'm going to put that on there. How you doing? I did not see Dune. I did go see a movie.
What'd you watch, Eric?
A movie you told me about only last night.
Yes, I did.
Now, the movie has a name, and the movie is called Poor Things.
Poor Things.
But as we describe it as the Emma Stone fuck movie.
Yeah.
Now, I would like that to be the episode title, but I don't think any of the platforms are going to allow us to say the Emma Stone fuck movie.
No.
But, again, if they were smart, they'd put it on the poster. Poor Things _. The Emma Stone, fuck movie. Where are you guys going? I'm going to see the Emma Stone fuck movie. Oh, why do you have the Dune 2 popcorn buckets? None of your business.
Shut up.
We're going to see the Emma Stone fuck movie.
Stop saying things.
So I watched it. It looks like a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Who made this movie? Do you know?
A director, I think his name is Yorgos Lanthimos.
Okay.
He's made some really good movies, but they are movies that the mainstream haven't seen. Mm-hmm. One of them is Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is a very, very good movie. And then there's another one.
Not the lyric, but I'll let it slide. Go ahead.
And another one with Colin Farrell called The Lobster. And that one came out.
Oh, I've heard of The Lobster, but I did not watch that one either.
Yep. So same director, very weird movies, very weird premise. But he's a good director. It's just some of these movies are very, I would say, very artsy. But you're right. This has a very Wes Anderson look. Looks almost like
it does. Like the city, the
weird colors.
The skyline is ridiculous. The city outline, some of the sets, the cruise ship that they're on at one point is just ridiculous.
Right.
I liked it though because it also appears to be a bit David Lynch, like when David Lynch did The Return to Twin Peaks. When they started showing the White Lodge and how all that shit looked, that's kind of what like the cruise ship looked. When they went to Athens, and Athens, Greece was just this one big dirt island with a bridge that was broken between the higher tier and the low. Did you see this movie?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. A few observations with this movie. A lot of gratuitous sex.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it not even tittillating.
No, she's just getting like railed out by large men while she's wearing
slothy
ball gags.
Gentlemen and creatures and stuff, and it just looks terrible. Also, the sex scenes with Mark Ruffalo, Not needed either.
No.
Although he's for the character, when the character's just being an asshole and a bit of a con man, he was great. He was fantastic in that. When he smashed his head into the bar, and she's like, "You seem upset," and he had just smashed his head face on into the bar, and he's crying, and she goes, "Oh, now you're crying?"
Yeah, because she's so doesn't know.
She's
how
so
to react
blunt.
to things.
Yeah.
I like the scene where he's sitting on the park bench. She comes up and she basically offers him like an eclair,
Right.
and then he's like, "Wait, did you steal this?" She goes, "No, I came into some money, and this is how." And then she's like, "I figured out I can sell myself for money, and so I've been having sex."
Oh,
with
I could
people."
be. She went to a brothel and then went to a room and just had sex with a guy and then left.
Yeah, because he said he was like the best at sex. So she's like, I had no idea how to compare. So I did it. And now I can compare. He's like,
but she was laughing. She goes, yeah. And then I got his money and I left with his money. And then I bought these eclairs and I'm laughing the whole way back here. And like,
yeah,
that part of the movie, not that particular scene, but the parts where she talks, she's not censored and she has no filter.
None.
In the sense of what social norms are. Or just even basic understanding of being polite to people, whatever.
Right. Decorum.
She just says whatever. And I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
I was enjoying that, those parts of the movie when she's just rattling off nonsense. And you're like, that's so great that she's saying. There was one scene where they're dining with another couple in a restaurant.
Yeah. I remember.
And saying something, the most despicable thing I've ever had in my mouth, and I said that to Richard, and then she leans over to like Mark Ruffalo, if you catch my drift, and my son just goes, "Oh, you're talking about his penis." Okay, yeah,
Right.
I get it. Like I liked that. I was like, that's fantastic. I like that kind of dialogue. Everything else in the movie, I didn't care about. I continued to not like William Dafoe. I don't like that he's a creepy person just overall to begin with, and then plays creepier roles. Mm-hmm. What was the farting lighthouse movie he was in? Lighthouse. There you go.
I love that movie. It's like one of my favorites.
So there, and I have a personal bias because when he came on the show, he was a bit of a dick to all of us. So I didn't like him there either. Spider-Man, whatever. But he plays these weird roles because he's that actor that can do those weird roles. Mm-hmm. The face.
They put him in prosthetics in this one.
I just couldn't, weird. Even with that. The whole gastro bubble thing all the time was very, very Twin Peaks. Was very David Lynch. There was a lot of David Lynch style stuff in this movie.
But there are some parts where like just little random line deliveries made me laugh. Like when she was getting married and like they're doing the wedding ceremony and the two guys, Ruffalo and the other guy, storm in. He's like, "Hey, I'm your husband," because she was put together and all whatever. And Ruffalo goes, "See, he's the devil. He doesn't breathe air. He spits blood." And the guy goes, "He's got tuberculosis, you idiot." Yeah. Like it's just very dry, very blunt, but it was just like perfect. Like some of those are really awesome.
Noodles in the chat saying, so she's what we call an Erik Nagel. Yes, she had no filter. I can only aspire
to be that level.
To be that level of a fictional character where she just says things and has no fucks given about it. And I really liked that. So for what was kind of gross and unnecessary and just awkward in the movie was countered by the weird artistic shots. And her dialogue, I really thoroughly enjoyed. Like I liked a lot of her view on a lot of things going on in the movie. I don't think I've ever would have seen this movie otherwise had you not told me about it. There is one scene that I did spit up my iced tea because I was laughing my ass off.
What part?
Do you have an idea?
No.
I don't think you'll guess it, but I would love if you had a guess. I would love to hear what it would be.
No, nothing off the top of my head. No.
All right, so it's when they're in the house. I don't know did it say what city that they're in? William Dafoe's characters, because his name's Godwin in the movie.
I don't remember if they mention it.
Okay,
I'll look it up and see if they
did. But when he walked out the door early in the movie, it looked like early 1900s New York City, that kind of thing. With futuristic stuff, like there's trams in the sky. It looked almost like
very like
BioShock Infinite.
That's what I was just going to say, BioShock Infinite.
So he's in he's in the house. She's dancing around, you know, being ridiculous. And he's in there with, I guess, a student. Is the guy a student, Max?
I do know what you're talking about now.
Right?
It did make me laugh.
So she's dancing around and whatever. And he says the following. I had to pull it. Here you go.
Okay, go.
He says this.
What a very pretty retard.
I laughed so hard while
Right.
I was drinking my iced tea, and I laughed so hard that I was like, I can't believe he said that. And I went back and played it again, and lo and behold, he said,
What a very pretty retard.
Yeah.
and I was like, that's what was kind of selling me on this movie, going, this movie doesn't care.
No.
They're not. And
No, because
later
it's followed up immediately by her going wee, and then he thinks that she's cheering.
and yeah,
but
she's
no,
pissed
she's
all
literally
over the floor.
pissing on the ground.
Yeah.
It's fucking gross.
So later on, you find out there's a scene where she meets at a restaurant, and then they wind up on the cruise or something, or maybe it was all on the cruise. This older lady, and then the black guy, the scholar, the one who was talking philosophy with her and stuff.
Okay.
About how philosophy is crap and doesn't really mean anything. And then because she was talking about in polite society, that's what it was. He's like, oh, you know, I was told you can't do this in polite society. And he said, polite society is the biggest problem that we have with all of this stuff. So they're addressing that in the movie where they're like, I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable. I don't care if people thinks this is the wrong thing that wrong thing to say at the wrong time to say it. Mm-hmm. They were expressing that throughout the movie, saying, just fuck everything and do whatever you want. And after that, when that line, what line was that?
What a very pretty retard.
After that line was said, I was like, wow, they don't care. And then the rest of the movie goes on. You're like, yeah, they really didn't care. Mm-hmm. And I wound up not liking it and liking it at the same time.
It's a very weird movie that you can be, and that's how his movies are. Like, I like The Lobster, but it's weird. It's a weird movie.
Right.
Killing of a Sacred Deer is just perfect as far as most movies go, and that is a real fucked up movie. But yeah, this one was very odd, and I can't say that I'm sad that I didn't go to the movie theater to see it.
Right.
I don't know if it would have enhanced my care for this. Like, Dune 2 is something that you have to see on the big screen. It is just too big of a movie. This can be watched at home and you would probably still feel the same way.
Right.
And I had fun with it. And yeah, it ended up being the Emma Stone fuck movie.
So if you want a movie to go out, it's available in a lot of places. Go see the Emma Stone fuck movie, also known as Poor Things, and tell us what you think of it. I was pleasantly surprised while watching that movie. Out now for your viewing entertainment, also available on HBO Max, the new Wonka movie, or the recent Wonka movie, the third in the Wonka franchise. The third Wonka movie is available. That stars Timothée Chalamet, and I will be giving that a watch because I have not seen it yet. Over on Netflix, Damsel, starring Millie Bobby Brown. What is this?
It's like one of those typical damsel in distress type movies, except that she is like, it's one of those women empowerment movies. So she gets sent to like some alternate realm. Like, she was supposed to be sacrificed on like her wedding day or something like that, but she didn't die. And it's like her fighting her way back to, her kingdom or something like that. It's Millie Bobby Brown. She's done a few of these types of movies for Netflix. I don't think it's going to be bad, but I don't think it's going to be great.
Well, that's available on Netflix if you want to watch that. Over on Amazon Prime, Ricky Stenicki is finally out for you to view, and maybe we'll calm down a lot of people on Twitter who follow John Cena because he was posting OnlyFans stuff all the time, and people are like, what the hell is going on with this guy? And most people, if you did an ounce of research, you found out it was for this movie. Other people were just losing their shit over this because they're dumb. But you can see his it's free, by the way. If you want to go check out John Cena's OnlyFans, you can go subscribe to it. It's free. Ricky Stenicki is the name of the account and of the movie. Go look at that. Over on Paramount Plus, Mean Girls, is this
the newest one?
The newest one
that literally just came out like 3 weeks ago.
That's not good that it's on there.
It's already on Paramount Plus.
So Mean Girls, based on the Broadway version, right? This is the
Right.
movie based on the Broadway,
This
not
is
the
the
movie original.
Yeah.
Over on Video on Demand, I saw Argyle is available, and I saw you put it on here too.
Yeah.
I want to watch it, despite the fact that most people didn't like this movie, because it from what I was told, starts off with a great premise and then goes sideways, and everyone hated it after where the movie shifted.
There was a weird clip that someone had posted on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it today that made me not want to watch it, but I'll probably still watch it. It's a scene where Bryce Dallas Howard's character is like ice skating on oil, and it's just like doing a bunch. It just it does not look fun. So
yeah, so that's available. I'm gonna give that a watch, despite what people say. There are people who have been almost championing, I can't say it, on social media to try to get another movie made with those characters just to be the spy movie without the author bullshit in it.
Yeah.
Just make that movie an actual thing based on the book from the movie. Make it a real movie and continue on from there. That'd be great if that's what they did. They actually listened to the audience and did it, and then that far exceeded the original one. All right, moving on. In theaters right now, Imaginary. What is that?
So that company Blumhouse, who makes horror movies, they did Megan. I think they did Night Swim, or at least they produced it.
Okay.
This is another one of those inanimate objects, teddy bear thing comes to life. It's a killer movie. It's probably going to be PG-13. It's probably not going to show you anything.
All right.
It's going to make money because it's a horror movie and they do on the cheap. So that's the only thing out this weekend that's new.
Right. Because next week, well, it's not really a movie release. It was out in the theaters for a limited run, but it'll be available on Disney Plus. Say what you want. There's millions of people that love Taylor Swift. Her Eras Tour movie is now going to be available on Disney Plus on March 14th. So set your calendar, I guess, whatever you're going to do.
3 hours and 30 minutes long. They already preloaded it onto Disney Plus and got people freaking out that it was out already, but it wasn't.
Right.
And they're showing the runtime. It's 3 hours and 30 minutes long.
Yeah. Tom from Alberta saying the photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of Wonka.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to get it done because the first movie was fantastic, but people somebody was upset that it wasn't fully based on the book. Like it didn't follow the book exactly. Then they made Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was supposed to the Tim Burton one that was supposed to be based on the book, and people didn't like that one. So now the third one here, I heard did okay in the box office, but it's mixed reviews on it. It's leading up to Wonka building the chocolate factory. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. What else do we have coming out? So that's on the 14th, and then later the following week on Amazon Prime, the Roadhouse reboot, which we've been talking about, is also underway with a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because of what?
I think the original writer, the screenwriter who wrote the movie, I guess the rights should have reverted back to him after a certain amount of time, and he filed with the I think it was FCC or whoever, patent or U.S. patents or something like that. And so Amazon, who ended up acquiring MGM, acquired the rights to Roadhouse, knowing that they're going to lose those rights if they didn't make a movie in a certain time frame. Rushed this movie to get done. The strike happened, and then I guess he's claiming that they used AI to fill in dialogue to get it done faster.
Oh, that's right. This was the Crispin Glover type thing that we were talking. All right, now I remember. Okay. Moving on. Final reminder, March 14th, if you have a Disney Plus account, Hulu account, or ESPN Plus account, all three of them, all owned by Disney, will be banning users who are sharing their subscriptions with people outside of their household. Now, Netflix did this last year, and they said they were going to ban people, but you wound up getting a screen on there saying that you don't have access to this anymore. It's outside of the network for where the account is based on, and that was pretty much it. Disney could go full extreme and start banning accounts. I don't know, But March 14th, if you have any of those accounts, because I know, doesn't UFC still do stuff on ESPN Plus? Or did they move everything over to their UFC Plus stuff?
I don't think everything got moved, but it's not going to be like big title fights, not like UFC 300 or anything.
Okay. Well, anyway, sports stuff, movie stuff, TV stuff, Disney stuff. Get your own accounts now. You can't share passwords anymore. And they also do the thing, too, where if you travel like your bank, you have to tell them that you're leaving the country, or if you're going across to the other side of the country, so they don't freeze your account for suspicious behavior. You have to let them know that you're traveling in order for them to give you permission. It's such bullshit. Moving on. Over at Netflix, they just made the announcement today. This is ridiculous and completely stupid. Not that the other fights weren't stupid, but this one is really stupid. Jake Paul is set to fight Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will go head-to-head with the YouTuber turned fighter Jake Paul in a mega boxing event that will stream live exclusively on Netflix July 20th. They announced today Tyson and Paul are set to duke it at the AT&T Stadium, which I think that's Dallas, right?
Dallas, yeah.
Right? 80,000...
Or Arlington, sorry.
Where?
Arlington, sorry, it says it right there.
Yeah, but isn't that where the Cowboys play?
Yeah, it's the Cowboys.
Okay,
Stadium.
so yeah, Dallas, whatever. The 80,000 seat capacity venue. The company announced in its news press release, which goes to show you. I'm not reading that line. That's stupid. Was that your joke or was that from the article?
Come on, it's a funny joke.
Jordan wrote,
yeah, that's a good one.
Which goes to show you if you use the code 007-373-5963, you can skip all the other fighters and go right to Tyson. All right, that is a funny joke.
That's a pretty good joke.
It's better read than it is said on the radio there. I don't know why Tyson is doing this, unless Tyson's in dire straits with money again, and I don't think he is because his podcast blew up, the one he was doing with DJ Who Kid and a few other people. His weed line went crazy. Like he was doing really well with that. He had that documentary movie a while ago based on his one-man show that he was doing. Both of those did very well. He had a show, I think it was on the Learning Channel.
About pigeons?
The pigeons, yeah. About growing up with pigeons on the rooftops in Brooklyn. Pigeons. I don't know why Tyson's doing this.
I don't know why either. This came out of literally left field for me. I read it. I'm like, this. If it's happening,
I hope Tyson kicks the shit out of him. Now, Jake Paul's, I'm not a big fan. His brother I like. Jake I don't really give a shit about. But all the fighters that Jake Paul's fought should have easily pummeled him. And they have not. And Jake won every fight, probably because they're getting like 8-9 figures for these things. This isn't a good look for Tyson. Like, it was shitty that Floyd Mayweather did it, and the other one, Pacquiao, did it too. Tyson shouldn't be doing this stuff. I don't think he's that hard up on money. But whatever the reason is, if he goes in there, I would love to see Tyson lose his shit. Like, if Jake Paul got a weird shot to his head, and Tyson went back to crazy Tyson.
Beat the shit out of him,
bite his face, his ears, something like that. Then it's like, yes, I see why Tyson took this.
Because it's not even a sanctioned fight. Like, this is not something that's going to get him kicked out of boxing.
Yeah.
He literally could just kill this person.
He might get kicked off of YouTube, but other than that, who cares?
I think it's weird that Netflix is going to put this out. This is going to be a Netflix.
Ever since Netflix bought the rights to Monday Night Raw from WWE, they're now going full force into the live streaming. Do you remember, they only did it once or twice, and I think one of the times was for a Chris Rock special. It was right after the Will Smith event.
So they did a live Chris Rock special, and then recently they just did the Screen Actors Guild, like literally like last weekend or something.
Okay.
They played that live for some reason.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just saw
maybe
that it was
they're
on my
just
front
using
page.
these
Like,
things and they're using them as test
for live
properties for live service or what have you. But they're going to do this, and then in January 2025, Monday Night Raw moves off of the USA Network here in the United States, goes to Netflix, and will be broadcast live every Monday. So, all right, I have Netflix. I'm not paying the other pay-per-view rates that they were charging for these. Some of these things were like $100, $90 to see the Jake Paul card, which who cares? It's like, why? I can watch. If you're smart, you knew we're on TikTok or an Instagram live to get the live streams off of there illegally.
You're watching somebody else point their phone at their television,
which is
doing it
terrible.
live.
You should never be encouraging people to do stuff illegally, and we're not. I'm just saying we just knew they were there, and we happened to watch.
Erik, this is an audio medium too. Wink. I'm just kidding.
Wink. Blur that out. All right, moving on. Disney Pixar news. Inside Out 2. If you were a fan of that movie, I'm sure your kids were. New trailer introduces 3 new emotions, and this is I'll tell you why I brought this up for the Pixar sequel. The 3 new emotions are envy, ENNUI.
Ennui.
Ennui. What is ennui as far as an emotion?
Malaise, or I would think
it makes sense based on the actress they hired
apathy.
for it. Okay. And embarrassment are the 3 that are being added to this. The film is set to arrive in theaters on June 14th of this year. The actress, she has a very difficult last name. Her name is Adele Exarchopoulos.
Oh, she's French. No, that's very Greek.
Right. But she's French. She did a movie called Blue is the Warmest Color.
With Lea Seydoux, who was also in Dune 2.
That's the only reason I brought this up, is because Adele is in Blue is the Warmest Color. And there's another movie that she did too. And it's probably some of the most...
The hot lesbian movie.
erotic, just short of pornography movies out there for you to watch.
We're really giving the viewers and the listeners a good list of movies to really catch up on.
Hope you have your Post-it notes out and writing everything down. So look for Blue is the Warmest Color.
Mm-hmm.
And she had another movie that was on par with that. I'm looking through her IMDb to let you know what it is. I'm not seeing it. This is terrible to do on this show, but I feel
they
it's
like
very,
our Google searches.
I feel it's very important for you to know. If anything, go find Blue is the Warmest Color and thank us later for it.
Yes, it's a very good movie.
Is it Orphan? Is that what I'm thinking of? The other movie?
Oh, I don't know. Are you talking about the weird movie where like she's pretending to be a kid but she's not? I don't think that's Orphan. I don't know if that's the movie you're thinking of.
No.
You keep going. I'll look it up.
Oh, Down by Love. That's the other movie where she gets a bit risque in those 2 movies too. She reminds me of the girl. There was a movie back in the 2000s.
Reminds me of a young Jessica Tandy.
No, there was a girl in the mid 2000s. There was a movie called Swimming Pool, which was another French movie, and for some reason, French movies, or I think it was a French movie. Yeah, it had to be a French movie where they just take hot girls and put them in really over sexualized situations. And the actress, her name was Ludivine Sagnier. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but it's Ludivine Sagnier. Ludivine Sagnier. She's just like Adele. She has a history of movies where you go back and watch and you're like, oh my God.
I have seen this movie.
Yeah.
This is weird. Every movie you're naming has actors or actresses that are in Dune Part 2. Charlotte Rampling is in Dune Part 2. She's in Swimming Pool.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Look up that actress and then Adele from
Ludivine Sagnier.
Blue is the Warmest Color. You'll be glad
Charles
you
Dance's
did. Just saying. Moving on. Ballerina. We've mentioned Ballerina before.
Right.
It's the new spin-off movie from the John Wick franchise. Just announced some new casting in there. They've cast David Castaneda, if I'm pronouncing that right. He's number 2 on Umbrella Academy. He's Diego. So he's part of that. And then this other actress, Sharon Duncan Brewster, which I think I remember from Rogue One and Sex Education, the Netflix series that all the youngins love. They're been added to the cast, but nobody knows, anybody that's been added so far, nobody knows what they're doing in the movie. Like nothing has been released.
No, they had to push it off an entire year to quote unquote spice up the action, getting the director of John Wick to come in and get these.
Probably because of the strikes too and all that pushed
possible.
everything off. Yeah, but everything is under wraps. Nobody knows what anybody's doing in the movie. It was originally scheduled for release this year. It's now being scheduled for June 6th of 2025. Tim Allen is returning back to network television. Why you would think that'd be a good thing at all in your career nowadays, but they must be offering him a ton of money because he's done very well for ABC every time he's done a show there. Mm-hmm. He did 8 seasons of Home Improvement that we all grew up, which was a powerhouse sitcom for that network. And then he had that other show that had a lot of controversy because it was viewed as being very conservative, Last Man Standing.
I don't think I ever watched it.
It was him. It was him, and I think Katie Seagal played his wife.
No, yeah. Let me look it up. I know the actress, and I'm just blanking on her name. Last Man Standing.
Tell me now.
It was Nancy Travis.
Okay, I was not even close.
Nope.
Nancy Travis on there. It got a lot of news coverage. It got a lot of people not liking it because they felt it was too conservative. It was very right wing or what have you.
Which is weird. It went 6 years.
It went 6 years. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It did very well. So it did great for him. ABC owned by Disney. Tim Allen, the voice of Buzz Lightyear for the Toy Story movies and all the offshoots and everything else like that. Tim and the Santa Claus movies, which are also owned by Disney.
It's weird because there was that controversy when they made that Buzz Lightyear movie that went and didn't do great because it was based off of the
didn't
real
make any sense
Buzz
for them to do that.
No, it didn't. But people got mad and they're like, well, you're kind of shitting on the work that Tim Allen did. You only don't want to hire Tim Allen because of his politics. The man is making 3 seasons of Santa Claus and is on every
Disney
ABC
is
television.
Constantly using Tim Allen.
That's what I'm saying. Like when everyone complained about it, I'm like, you have no leg to stand on.
Almost every major achievement outside of his book and his stand-up comedy
is literally ABC.
Is literally ABC Disney.
Viacom. Just that's it.
No, not even Viacom. Viacom's another is CBS.
Is it CBS?
Yeah, okay. Viacom owns CBS and Paramount. Everything Tim Allen has done outside of his stand-up and his book has been ABC Disney. And he's made
maybe I'm thinking Vindapore.
Millions of dollars. So I was surprised he's going back to network television, was not surprised that it was ABC. So there you go. Frankie Bronson saying it was Fox, Disney bought Fox. Yeah, but it was produced by ABC. Certain shows are produced by one network and then sold to other networks. Mm-hmm. Like if you watch Golden Girls, right? If you grew up watching Golden Girls, or if your parents watched it and you watched it because they did, was on NBC. It was a powerhouse show on Saturday nights for NBC. ABC Studios made Golden Girls. So if you go to watch Golden Girls, it's over on Hulu, on the Hulu properties for ABC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yes, I am, Frankie. Yes, I am. Moving on. Only Murders in the Building, which I forgot to finish the 3rd season. I got to go back and do all that. Has announced new cast members, and they brought in the guy who single-handedly destroyed the Marvel No, that's kidding.
You're blaming him. He's the one guy that did it.
What was that movie?
That movie would have survived if it wasn't for you.
What was that movie that everybody had high hopes for?
The Eternals.
The Eternals. So you say his name because I'm going to get it wrong.
Kumail Nanjiani.
There you go. He got all roided up for this movie, and then it just
didn't even have a shirt off one time in that whole movie.
I think I saw something recently where he said he had like a big mental breakdown after the movie.
He has to go to therapy for it. Yeah.
That's something. But anyway, he's now going to be part of the cast in a reoccurring role that is mostly kept under wraps. Everything's kept under wraps, which is kind of good. I'm glad they're now keeping more and more secrets because we don't need to know everything. Other new season 4 cast members: Eugene Levy, who I thoroughly enjoy, Eva Longoria, and Molly Shannon. Meryl Streep is also set to reprise her role from season 3. She was actually really good in from what I saw of season 3. I have to go back and watch that. Over to Warner Brothers, they're continuing to cancel everything that people love. They canceled Rooster Teeth. Tell everybody what the subsidiary of Warner Brothers is with Rooster Teeth.
So Rooster Teeth is probably best known for making the Red versus Blue series. It was a web series based off of Halo. So you had the red team versus the blue team, and it was just, funny voices, do all this stuff. They have been around for 21 years and basically just got told, I think Tuesday, that they're getting shut down. They're ceasing operations after 21 years. Process starts today and is expected to take several months. The news was announced at an all-hands company meeting that and shared by an internal memo.
Are these the same people that fired everybody in the YouTube office? They just showed up over at Warner Brothers, did the same thing?
It's just a company.
It's a busy day here in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So with a heavy heart, I announced that Rooster Teeth is shutting down due to challenges facing digital media resulting from fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and monetization across platforms, advertising, and patronage, said in the email, which is a lot of company jargon saying, we don't know how to make money off this, so we're shuttering it.
Gotcha.
It lasted 21 years, but Warner Brothers can't seem to figure it out, so they're getting rid of it. It just doesn't make sense.
Well,
doesn't make sense, but that's Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers has not figured out enough stuff to ruin or cancel and try to get a tax write-off.
Right.
Also happening with DC and Warner Brothers, they're developing Jurassic League, which I'm not familiar with.
Apparently
it's an animated film with dinosaur versions of Batman and Superman. They just did that movie like 2 years ago with the Super Pets, I guess, which I don't know if that did well for them at all, because I think
but I enjoyed it.
Voiced one of the pets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the selling point because they were trying to tie it in with Black Adam, all the hype for Black Adam. So they're developing Jurassic League, and it's going to be written by our pal Brian Lynch,
right?
Writer of The Minions, Secret Life of Pets,
bastard,
and his brand new book, Stories of a Sixth Grader. Go out and buy it now.
Yeah.
Also with DC, there's been word that James Gunn is talking with Grant Gustin, who was TV's The Flash, not the friggin' mess that it was in the movie version, Ezra Miller.
Right.
Which nobody likes him. But Grant is good as the Flash. The problem with the Flash TV show is that they kept putting him in scenarios where he would go, oh, golly gee, shucks, I can't do this. And then everybody else around him had to do it for him. And that was just the writing and the direction of the television show. When he was the Flash, he was fine. It's just they kept neutering him all the time because, hey, we got all these other cast members we got to do something with. And you should go, that's not my problem. People just want to see him run through space and time and destroy things. That's
Except
all people
the episodes
wanted.
that a friend of the show, Kevin Smith, wrote and directed. Fantastic. Those are the good ones. Best ones ever.
I hate that everyone uses this now, but they go chef's kiss. I hate that people do that. It's such a douchey thing. DC adjacent, Zack Snyder just showed up on the Joe Rogan podcast. I haven't watched it yet.
No,
I haven't bookmarked it. Snyder said in a recent interview on the Joe Rogan Experience, or the JRE for those in the know, that he doesn't understand the fans' hatred of his work. It's become personal amid poor reviews of the latest directorial efforts. Netflix Rebel Moon, which by the way, the next one's coming
April.
No buzz. Nobody's talking about it.
No trailer for
Nothing.
it. Not one thing.
It's not trending anywhere. No one gives a shit. Snyder read one article that referred to him as a love him or hate him filmmaker. He said, I have no issues with you not liking the movie, Snyder said. That's not the question. Who cares? The thing is, like you would personalize. You hate me because of it. I don't understand that. It's because you put out shitty work. And
it's not even that. Like, you can put out shitty work, and if it's your own IP, I can care less if you put out shitty work.
Right.
If you take a beloved comic or a franchise and you say, I know better than 80 years of experience writing these comic books, and I'm going to say Batman is going to kill people, Superman is going to kill people, and it needs to be dark and gritty. No, you're an asshole. Mm-hmm. Fuck off. That's why people hate him. He takes things that people love and shits on them, thinking he knows better because he's an auteur.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You make shitty movies. You slow down everything. Every movie you should make is only an hour long, except that you put so much slow motion in it. It's a 3-hour epic. They all suck. 300 was good. And even then, 300's not good.
Well,
Rewatch it. It's a shitty movie, but it's fun.
all right. I don't like any of his stuff. Even the stuff that I think I liked in the past, I don't like it now because of where we're at. That Snyderverse Justice League thing, what a complete piece of garbage. Oh no, and it's also in black and white too. Why? No one cares. It was interesting that they did Godzilla -1 in black and white because it was an homage to the first movie. Other than that, don't put your shit in black and white if you have a perfectly good color version. You're not that special of a director, a producer, or important enough of a project to go into that pomposity.
So you say that, but I have some news for you that I didn't put on here that I forgot. They're putting Shin Godzilla in black and white on like Blu-ray like next month.
That's stupid.
I know. I'm like,
no one's going to get
it. Like, why?
It's not going to. The part of Shin Godzilla, I mean, is a goofy movie. It's enjoyable, but it's a goofy movie. Is because you see all the weird color scales and stuff. Mm-hmm. Putting it in black and white is not making it any cooler or any scarier.
Yeah, it's coming out in Japan, I think, like next month and the month after, and then eventually it'll make its way over here. But I was like, why Shin Godzilla?
Stop hopping on trends. Just because this one did it doesn't mean you need to do it too.
Yeah.
Moving on. The Accountant 2. Had no idea there was an Accountant 1, but apparently it came out in 2016 and stars Ben Affleck. The official synopsis for The Accountant 2 has been revealed as the Ben Affleck sequel moves from Warner Brothers, surprise, another movie that's being let go or sold, to Amazon's MGM Studios. I've never seen The Accountant 1. I don't know if I'll care about The Accountant 2 unless I see Accountant 1. But apparently it was big enough to put on the sheet because it was making news for no reason.
I think he's like an assassin or something. And like, I don't know. I can't believe the first one did well enough to necessitate.
You want a good assassin movie? Do the one Mr. Nobody with Saul Goodman.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. I like that
Why
movie.
am I spacing out his name? His brother writes for The Simpsons. You're no help to me, Jordan.
I know.
Saul Goodman. Who is he? You don't remember.
Now that you're saying it, you're making me upset that I don't remember now off the top of my head.
You're looking it up.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to remember this. Keep going.
You're going to
talk about Freaky Friday.
No, why can't I remember?
Odenkirk. Bob Odenkirk.
Thank you. Because his brother, I know his brother wrote for this, writes, maybe still writes, I don't know, for The Simpsons.
It's funny. You were saying, I was saying Bob in my head. I was like, I'm going to correct him.
Bill
and then I couldn't think of his last name.
Freaky Friday, which was a movie that apparently did well at one point in time, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Mm-hmm. Well, now there's a sequel possibly in the works. Lindsay Lohan has confirmed that Freaky Friday sequel is in the process of coming together, adding that she's excited to work with her original co-star Jamie Lee Curtis again. The actress has shared the news on Andy Cohen's SiriusXM radio show. After the host probed about the Freaky Friday sequel, the rest of this doesn't matter. My problem with this is that this was a ripoff of an 80s movie called Like Father, Like Son, which starred Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. And it's the exact same thing. Something happens.
There's a thing you have to go back further. In the 70s, Freaky Friday for Disney starring Jodie Foster. Like, this is just the same.
Shit, you're right. There was another one.
All
I
recycled.
Forgot. Damn it. You're right. So, all right. So I can't even go Like Father, Like Son ripped off Freaky Friday. Wasn't the other
just
way
erase
around.
it. Don't keep it out of the radio portion.
Well, apparently everyone else has erased it because nobody knows that movie Like Father, Like Son, starring Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. There was somebody else that was in the movie too. Sean Astin. Sean Astin was in it as well. I think he played his friend. I don't care about these movies. Moving on to something else I don't care about. The John Bon Jovi story is apparently a thing. Legendary rock band Bon Jovi is subject to a new documentary series, which will drop on Hulu on April 26th. The Bon Jovi story, the 4-part docuseries, will revisit the band's musical journey through the span of 4 decades. Will feature the history of Bon Jovi through old personal photos and videos that will give viewers a behind-the-scenes look at the band's earlier years to their rise to global fame. It would also provide a deep dive into the life of the band's frontman, John Bon Jovi, if you weren't familiar. There you go, trivia question. As well as interviews with the band's past and present members, which means they spent a lot of money to get Richie Sambora on there to talk about it and not
Right.
badmouth them. It will feature the band's unreleased demos and will discuss their wins, greatest hits, and even the band's major setbacks.
There were setbacks?
I guess when he went solo, that was a big setback for the band.
When he bought into a arena football league, that was probably a big setback. When his son is marrying the star of Damsel on Netflix now.
Right. Again, Hulu, April 26th, the John Bon Jovi story. The trailer is available online if you want to see that. Something that I will admit that I watch, Young Sheldon. I've watched every episode of every season of this show. Now, it is way different than The Big Bang Theory. It is not as cornball. In fact, I actually like Young Sheldon better than The Big Bang Theory.
I've seen clips where it's like I want to watch it just based off his dad alone.
Right. The dad's great.
Yeah.
In that. The dad, if you don't know who the dad is in the show, if you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Frank's friend Ponderosa,
That's him?
that's the dad on Young Sheldon.
That's awesome.
The guy who had the IROC or the Thunderbird or something like that, and then kept causing all the fucking problems. That's the father on Young Sheldon.
So funny.
So, anyway, so Young Sheldon's in its seventh and last season, and they've just announced that they're going to be doing another spinoff based on Sheldon's brother George and the older woman that he knocked up and had a baby with, who's played by Emily Osment, who I think is fantastic. Her brother is the troll-looking figure now who was in The Sixth Sense.
That's so messed up. He's pretty good still.
He's a nice guy. He
has gotten a little larger.
He's like the modern day Mickey Rooney. He's just out of proportion. They're ready to introduce so this is the next version in the Big Bang universe. Here's what's interesting. The guy who created Big Bang Theory, was it Bill Lawrence?
No, Lawrence did like Scrubs and other things. I know who you're talking about. Let's see.
No, you're right. It's not Bill Lawrence. All right, so that defeats what I was just going to say here. All right. But anyway, it's still amazing that they managed to keep this going as long as they did. It did well for CBS, and apparently it's doing really well on this. You'll find this funny. So it airs on CBS, and because they have a streaming partner, it goes on to Paramount Plus. All the CBS stuff goes onto Paramount Plus.
Okay.
It does okay on Paramount Plus. You want to know where it does really well?
Where?
On Netflix.
Of course it does.
Everything but the current season, I think, is on Netflix. And it's one of their top shows on Netflix for people to stream and binge.
You know why? And this is my biggest issue, is that the app for Paramount Plus is the most janky, hard to navigate, hard to use application that has been put out for any system. And the fact that they haven't fixed it in the iterations that they've had for this thing is appalling.
Right.
So you can't tell me you're putting out all these properties, you got all this stuff, and you can't get through your application. No. So that's probably the biggest thing. So if you can go to Netflix, which you know works, and watch this instead of going to Paramount Plus, 9 times out of 10 you're going to do that. Well, so I can see that.
It's doing gangbusters for Netflix, not so much for Paramount Plus, the company that owns it. What else do we have here? Ripley. If you saw The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was the Matt Damon movie based on the book, there's a new series coming to where? Netflix.
Got everything.
Yes.
And your money.
It's a limited series based on the best-selling Tom Ripley novels. It's going to take place a grifter scraping by in the early 1960s of New York.
When I was getting this all put together, I found out the whole series is in black and white.
Oh, it wasn't for effect for the trailer, the whole thing?
The entire series is in black and white.
Interesting. So
yeah.
Ripley is hired by a wealthy man to travel to Italy to try to convince his vagabond son to return home. Ripley's acceptance of the job is the first step into a complex life of deceit, fraud, and murder. So this is, I guess, the development of becoming the talented Mr. Ripley.
Talented Mr. Ripley, yep.
I'm looking forward to that. Other news, wrestling. I know a lot of people don't care about wrestling, but I feel that this was important enough to bring in because he's one of my favorite people. Do you know the name Paul Heyman?
I do. And even if I wasn't watching wrestling, I knew enough that he's on par with like Paul Bearer, like just a face, like I'm talking like, your wrestlers. You also
You're talking
know
about as far as like a manager goes.
Yeah, like someone who's just with a big name. Like growing up, Paul Bearer was the guy for me
for the Undertaker, right?
Heyman is
Paul Heyman is way more than that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Paul Heyman is the guy who created ECW.
Oh wow!
Right? Paul Heyman was in the WCW before he started ECW.
Mm-hmm.
He was a manager there. He was a part-time, I don't want to say correspondent, but announcer, if you will. He would call color commentary for some matches. He would do the reporter backstage kind of thing for some segments. Was a manager overall. Went and made ECW. Ran ECW until WWE bought it out. Came over to the WWE. Has been a legendary manager for Brock Lesnar. CM Punk for a tiny bit when Punk's first run in the WWE, and his biggest run right now has been the last 2+ years of being the wise man, essentially the mouthpiece for Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. And the guy is he's loved and hated by everybody. But
now, is it customary to be put into the Hall of Fame of something if you're still actively in the business? Like, when a football player retires,
yes and no. It has to be
right.
Yes and no. It has to be a certain circumstance, something special.
Okay.
And it is, and I'll tell you what it is.
Vince is in trouble. Got it.
No.
Look over here.
No. It's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. We're going into WrestleMania 40. It's happening in Philadelphia, which is where ECW started.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Philadelphia loves Paul Heyman. Philadelphia would burn their city to the ground again for Paul Heyman.
When do they not?
To have him inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in Philadelphia just makes perfect sense.
It does.
So I love Paul Heyman. Every time we've had him on Opie and Anthony, or if I did WWE stuff, interviews, whatever, and we had Paul on there, it's very hard to see where the real Paul Heyman is and where the gimmick Paul Heyman is, because a lot of the times it's almost the same person. But he's fantastic. I think the only person that even comes close and maybe oversees him as being the best mouthpiece as far as sports entertainment ever went was Bobby the Brain Heenan. Do you know that name?
I love Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Bobby, fantastic. Paul is right up there. For some people, Paul's above Bobby. Other people, he's right up there with Bobby or just below Bobby. And I think he would even think if he was just below Bobby Heenan, that is still an extreme honor to have. So the fact that he was the first out the gate to be announced, because they're starting to announce that we're about a month away from WrestleMania, and they're starting to announce the Hall of Fame candidates, which is great because the night before WrestleMania used to be Sunday nights. It was just a one-day thing. Now it's 2 nights because they've grown so big. They got to do stuff on Saturday, stuff on Sunday. And now stuff on Saturday can affect things that happen on Sunday, which is also interesting. But the night before all of that is the Hall of Fame night, where they bring back everybody who's still living. They honor the people who aren't, and then who's the new graduating class being inducted into the Hall of Fame. For Paul to have this to happen while he's still working at the top of his game is amazing. He used to have shirts. I wish I still had my shirt, but I think it eventually fell apart from too many washes. He used to have a shirt that said, "I'm a Paul Heyman guy." And that shirt sold. It's not selling, like Stone Cold is still to this day the #1 selling merchandise for them, with the Austin 316 and the smoking skull and all that. For a while, Paul was doing Stone Cold numbers for that, just for the "I'm a Paul Heyman guy" merchandise.
Well, then I would say based off that, you would put him above Bobby the Brain Heenan, because you didn't see a lot of Bobby the Brain Heenan merchandise. He was a household name growing up, but he probably not at this level. But that's
too many other categories to add into a resume. If you're talking about manager presence, on air, mouthpiece, Bobby was a mouthpiece for a lot of big wrestlers who were not good at cutting promos or couldn't cut promos. A lot of big guys, Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy. I don't know if he did Bam Bam Bigelow for a while. I know the other guy did, but anyway, he had a stable of villains, right? That a lot of them didn't talk well. A couple of them did. Ric Flair, Mr. Hennig, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. They were great, good for talking. But Bobby was a mouthpiece to help push a character over. And Paul is that way too. Brock Lesnar destroys everybody. But he's gotten better on the mic. The last few times he's been on, he was pretty funny and entertaining. But you had Paul there who could just spin a yarn, and you didn't care that we're already 5 minutes into Paul's speech about what's going on here, and you don't even care if the match hasn't started yet. Like, that's how good he is.
Like, he just keeps going.
So I'm just very happy for Paul Heyman going into the WWE Hall of Fame. All right, that is it. We've gone very long, and I do apologize, but we had so much to get out to. One of these days, we'll figure out how to do a shortened version of this show. One of these days. Did we forget anything, Jordan? Was there anything super special that we needed to cover and that we didn't?
No, I think we got everything we needed to do. I mean, shoot, I didn't think we were going to go through that whole list of movies in segment 1. We did it. It's
maybe we'll cut that out.
Stuff.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, we do need to get out of here. And as always, the plug music is hitting. Plug time. Our nation's eyes turn to you, Jordan.
I do another show called I'll Watch It Later podcast, where we review and watch movies that we probably should have watched already in our lifetime. We're going through classics. We're going through random weird stuff, Korean movies, foreign films. We're doing all kinds of stuff. You can catch us over on YouTube at I'll Watch It Later podcast, Instagram at Watch Later Pod, and if you want to come find me, I'm on Instagram as Jinxed Ronan.
You are?
I am.
I had no idea. For me and the show, it's Erik Nagel across the board on all the social medias. Give us a follow there. If you're listening on the iHeart app, thank you very much for doing that. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, any other places that allow you to rate the content that you're listening to, do us kindness and go over there and leave us a positive review. It does help out the program, and it does help get more viewers and listeners and followers and all that stuff. And if you want to just, out of the kindness of your heart, go and share it with everybody, do it, as we always say, tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends.
I told 2 friends, but that is not enough.
No, it is. 2 friends tell 2 other friends, tell 2 other friends. It's like the coronavirus.
Yeah, see, it's just that simple. Tell everybody you can, share the show. We would appreciate that. And if you want to join us each and every week, come into our live rooms on Twitch and on YouTube, all under It's Erik Nagel, be part of the program. And if you missed the live show, the video versions are usually up the very next day on the YouTube channel for you to check out and enjoy. And with that being said, we are out of here. We covered everything, right?
Yes, sir. Everything is done.
All right. So until the next time, everybody,
be excellent to each other.
We'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
Eat peace, motherfuckers. Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itseriknagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends, and they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.